Today we are going to talk about my picks for the first round of the NBA playoffs. First up, the Atlanta Hawks up against the Miami Heat. The Hawks will never be an easy out as long as they have Trae Young. But I think this will be one of the toughest tests in the Trae Young era. Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero are no pushover. Honestly, this is a series that could drag on longer than most people think. But I still think Miami wins in a sharp 6 games. Next up, the Brooklyn Nets up against the Boston Celtics. High scoring versus power defense. A tough series to pick for sure. Despite the fact Boston is the higher seed, I am actually going with the Nets to get the upset here. In the end, the best defense is a good offense. Brooklyn has it with Kevin Durant, Seth Curry, and Kyrie Irving. Nets in a close 6-game series. Next up, the Chicago Bulls up against the Milwaukee Bucks. Overall easy series to pick here. Give me Milwaukee in a clean sweep. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Drew Holiday, and Bobby Portis will overpower a slumping Chicago that can't hold their own against top-tier teams. Bucks in 4. Next up, the Toronto Raptors up against the Philadelphia 76ers. I know a lot of people are picking Toronto to get the upset. But I still think Philly wins in a Game 7 at home. Pascal Siakam is a good player. But is he ready to be the best player on a playoff team in a best-of-7 series? Like Kawhi Leonard in 2019? He can be. But I don't think it will be this year. I know Joel Embiid has had his struggles with Toronto. And I know James Harden has not played like he used to. But I think Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris will be the X factors Philly needs to get past the Raptors. Give me 76ers in a tough 7 games. Now, over to the Western Conference. We start with the New Orleans Pelicans up against the Phoenix Suns. Honestly, the easiest series to pick. Give me Phoenix to sweep. The Suns have been the best team in the league all season. And while this Pelicans team is young and upcoming, there is no way they can beat the Suns 4 times. I don't even think they win as many as 1 game. Suns in a clean sweep. Next up, the Minnesota Timberwolves up against the Memphis Grizzlies. A very exciting series between 2 young and upcoming teams with a lot of young and entertaining players. Overall, I think Memphis wins. Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. are the sharper 2 in a best-of-7 when head-to-head with Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, and D'Angelo Russell. Grizzlies in electric 6-game series. Next up, the Denver Nuggets up against the Golden State Warriors. The Splash Brothers up against MVP frontrunner in Nikola Jokic. I am actually going with Denver to get the upset. Because of the small overlooked factors like Bones Highland and Aaron Gordon overpowering Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Nuggets in a tight 6 games. And lastly, the Utah Jazz up against the Dallas Mavericks. With Luka Doncic out, this can spell trouble for the Mavs. Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, and Rudy Gobert are not going to be any easy to stop. If Doncic was playing, I'd take Mavericks, but for now he'll take Jazz because they'll take advantage of him being out for possibly a few games. Well, that just about does it for round 1. We'll see how the first round turns out and be back here to predict round 2. With the first round now behind us, let's take a look at the second round of the NBA playoffs. First up, the Philadelphia 76ers up against the Miami Heat. Joel Embiid out until at least Game 3. Miami could be without Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero. I still think those 2 will play. But I am actually going the 76ers to do the unthinkable and upset the Heat. Philadelphia has what it takes to beat the Heat without Embiid. And now they have a healthy James Harden in the lineup. Also Tyrese Maxey. Give me Philadelphia in a Game 7 on the road to reach the Eastern Conference Finals. Next up, the Milwaukee Bucks up against the Boston Celtics. Boston blows past Brooklyn. Milwaukee, as expected, dismantles the Bulls. A true clash of the Titans. Even with Chris Middleton out, I still think Milwaukee wins. Giannis Antetokounmpo is still healthy. And so are Drew Holiday and Bobby Portis. Do I think Boston can still win the series? Yes. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Marcus Smart can be enough to get past this loaded Bucks lineup. Do I think they will? No. I think Milwaukee returns to the Eastern Conference Finals to face the Philadelphia 76ers. Heading out to the Western Conference, the Dallas Mavericks up against the Phoenix Suns. Well, the Pelicans put up a better fight with Phoenix than I originally thought. And I know Devin Booker was out. But still, this Suns team is good enough to end the series sooner than 6 games even without him. On the other side, the Mavericks have won their first playoff series in 11 years. Luka Doncic finally getting past the first round. But are the Mavericks really ready to take the next step and upset the best team in basketball? No. I think Phoenix take care of business in 6 games. And lastly, the Golden State Warriors up against the Memphis Grizzlies. Can we be honest here? The Minnesota Timberwolves, with one of, if not the biggest, choke jobs in NBA history, should have won the series with Memphis. Multiple chances to put games away and just collapsed. On the other side, their Warriors with a comeback in Game 5 to avoid a possible meltdown of their own against the Nuggets. Grizzlies won't get as lucky if they struggle as poorly as they did with Minnesota. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green are no pushover. But I do still think Memphis wins. In the end, power 3-point shooting beats power 3-point shooting. What should be an absolute great series. Grizzlies win in Game 7 at home. And that will do it for the second round. We will come back here to open up round 3. The conference finals. We are down to the home stretch in the 2022 NBA season. As we head into round 3, let's take a look at our final 2 matchups. In the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics up against the Miami Heat. Miami overpowers the 76ers. And the Celtics destroy the Bucks in Games 6 and 7. A tough matchup to pick in the Eastern Conference for sure. But I am going to do something I have yet to do. And that is to pick Boston to win the series. Yeah, the Celtics win this series in my opinion. Defense wins championships. Boston has it. Now don't get me wrong. Miami has the shooters that can overcome Boston's defense. Butler, Hero, and Adebayo. But still I think the Boston Celtics are going to the NBA Finals. Boston wins in Game 7 on the road. Now for the Western Conference. The Dallas Mavericks up against the Golden State Warriors. Wow. Really? Wow. Did anyone honestly think the Mavericks would do that? A blowout in Phoenix to upset the Suns. Incredible. Now they face their toughest test in the State Warriors, who got past the up-and-coming Grizzlies. I am actually going with Dallas to get the upset and keep their Cinderella going. If they can do that to 64-win Suns, they sure do a huge number on the Warriors. Won't be easy to do against Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. But I still think Luka Doncic will bring this team to the NBA Finals. Mavericks shock the world again and win in Game 7 on the road. So there you have it. My 2022 NBA Finals matchup. The Boston Celtics up against the Dallas Mavericks. Will it happen? Only time will tell. We will be back here to preview the finals no matter the matchup. It is time. After 3 long rounds, 16 teams started. Only 2 remain. Welcome to the prediction video for the 2022 NBA Finals. Now, let's take a look at this year's two contenders. A team that looked absolutely ugly the first 2 months into the season, saying that the Boston Celtics turned their season around, is an understatement. Not only did they get back on track, but they dominated. The toughest defense in basketball this season by far, securing a record of 51-31, the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. In the first round, the C's dismantled the preseason title favorite, Brooklyn Nets in a sweep, which included Jason Tatum's buzzer beater in Game 2. In the second round, Boston defeated the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks in a 7-game series in which both teams blew the other out multiple times. And, in the conference finals, the Celtics would get past the top-seeded Miami Heat, after Jimmy Butler would miss what may have been the series-winning 3. This is a Celtic team led by the aforementioned Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Al Horford, and a blistering half-court defense. And now, for their opponent. A team that came back onto the NBA final scene, after injuries plagued the 2020 and 2021 seasons. But, the Golden State Warriors have returned to the top of the conference as Western Conference champions for 2022. At 53-29, their Warriors managed to land the number 3 seed in the West. First round, handling the NBA League MVP Nikola Jokic, and the Denver Nuggets. Second round, tough luck snake bit the Grizzlies with Ja Morant getting injured. Warriors may or may not have advanced had he were healthy the whole series, but, regardless, in the conference finals, the clock struck midnight on the Cinderella Dallas Mavericks as Golden State knocked Luka Doncic in 5 games. The Splash Brothers Steph Curry and Klay Thompson still remain on the roster from the 2015, 2017, and 2018 champion Warriors teams. We cannot forget Draymond Green. This time, they have a lot of new faces making their first career finals appearances, such as Andrew Wiggins, Otto Porter, and Gary Payton. Now, after looking at both sides' run to the finals, who will win? And who will lose? Is it the 18th banner in Boston? Or another title in the Golden State dynasty? Well, after thinking about it for a long time, I am going with the Golden State Warriors to win another championship. While Boston's half-court defense is tough, their Warriors have the deep shooters to counter-attack this. Don't get me wrong. The Celtics have great three-point shooting too. But, I trust Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in a best-of-7 more than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So, in 7 games, the Golden State Warriors win the 2022 NBA Championship, their 4th title in the last 8 seasons, and 7th title in franchise history. My NBA Finals MVP, Steph Curry. You think I'm crazy? Let me know your prediction in the comments below. It has been an insane NBA season. Sad to see it end. But, it will only be 4 months before we have basketball again. Congratulations to the Golden State Warriors and their fans on winning the 2022 NBA Championship, the 7th in franchise history, and 4th in the past 8 years.